Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It's Sunday morning, a little after 11. Sort of rainy here in upstate South Carolina. Not sort of. It's rained all morning, and I think it may continue most of the day. So it's okay. I'm not going back out in it. At least that's the plan. But on yesterday, we had a great lesson. We session. We really just kind of fielded questions and talked a little bit and sort of went by whatever was on your mind and talked about some things. We talked a little bit from the book Spirituality Before Religion. Or again, you've heard me say I think anyway it's a fascinating book and one that makes you think, which is what I really really like. So uh with going before we go any further, just see if we have any questions on anything that we have discussed or anything, any questions or comments on anything that you may have observed in the last day or so. Anyone?
Is Pastor on the call?
Yes, he is.
Okay, Pastor, yeah, this is Lamont. I want we talked last week about we just mentioned about the fact that we're not back in the church yet, and we won't be going back for some time. I want you to address that.
Okay. Well, Lamont, what I meant by that is that the whole face of the church has changed. And how can I say this? For all intents and purposes, the church does not exist anymore. The church as we have known it is no longer in existence. COVID exposed what the church was. And as a result of that, a lot of people stopped coming. They stopped going, rather. As far as we are concerned, that's not the reason we are no longer as we were. We have not been in the mold of a church in 20 years or more. So right now, we are outside of the borders of a church. We are larger than that and more effective than that. And I do believe, and I would love to have input on this, I do believe that the Creator has charted a new course for us. And in doing so, we have been put in a place of self-discipline in order for us to stay this course and do the things that we would be doing if we were in a building. And that those things are taking care of the responsibilities of the physical building for the express purpose of being able to use it in later years. I also believe that the Creator does not intend for us to be a mirror of what the church once was, meaning that we cannot be who we are, and at the same time, those who are outside looking in appear to be the church as the church existed in the past. We cannot be a mirror of what church has been, and if we are, then that means that the same values that the church had, if any at all, those same values are attached to us. What we are now is unique in that we are able to continue along these lines along this journey rather of our unicity with each other. Being back in the buildings, we were separate from each other, and that did not work well when we went back together. I am not the only one who feel this way, that the Creator is showing us that our accountability is not to a building, association, or convention, and that our journey has superseded the journey that led us to where we are now. And now, I am not, my intent is not to speak disparagingly about the people who are attending church. That's not it at all. When I say that the church no longer exists, I am talking about the falsities that once existed, the manipulation of scriptures, the manipulation of leadership in these places. We are in a place where we are responsible for what we teach to each other, but we are not. We're responsible to each other, but we're not responsible for each other. You're responsible for yourself. And when we looked at the 42 affirmations of May, that solidified what I have been feeling in terms of us being responsible to each other, but not responsible for each other. And I've been saying that for years, and now I see it more clearly. The question is this: how deep is your commitment to the journey? Is your commitment to the journey strong, viable, and unshakable, as long as it doesn't cost you anything? How committed are you to the journey? If you can only be committed because we are in a building, then that is not commitment at all. That is habit. And when I say, how committed are you? And ask the question, are you committed to it as long as it doesn't cost you anything? That is not just the time that we spend in our sessions. It is not the change that is brought about based upon what we discuss, but it also speaks to your financial responsibilities as well. If you have to see me in order for you to render tithe and offering, then you have been rendering it in the wrong manner anyway, because the one who are proclaimed that is what you are supposed to do, you have never seen in physical form. So being responsible for yourself is inclusive of all these other responsibilities as well. And I would love if someone else could speak to this, because I know I'm not the only one who's seeing this. And Lamont, I'm hoping that I'm answering your question or responding to your inquiry. And I want to allow others to do the same if they will. Thank you. So is there anyone else who would like to speak to this?
Well, when Pastor, this is Ron, when we first talked about going back, I think I was one of the first to tell you I didn't feel right about it. I didn't feel it. And I think I've been back a couple times since then, but it just didn't feel the same. It's just, and don't get me wrong, I miss seeing everybody. I would love for us to get together and go grab a bite to eat, or throw something on the grill sometime, or do something. But I don't see the ritual practice of getting up, going into that building every Saturday or every Sunday. It just, the meaning of it to me is not there anymore, or what I thought was meaningful. But yeah, I voiced that to you earlier.
You did. Yeah,
Yeah.
you did indeed. You did indeed, but that does not at all advocate us of our responsibility. It does not
Yes.
diminish it at all. Anyone else? Oh, thank you, Ron. Anyone else?
Yeah, Pastor, that does answer my question. Yeah, and I agree with Ron. I do miss us getting together and seeing each other. Yeah, I do miss that part. I think I've stated that before, and I definitely miss the Monday nights. So yeah, but I understand what you're saying, Pastor.
Now, that
Good
doesn't
morning.
mean that we won't ever assemble again. It means that it's just different now than what it was in the past. I'm sorry, Barb, go ahead.
Good morning. I had shared some things with you earlier at an earlier time also, and my perspective is that this is sort of like a physical representation of what's happening spiritually, because not to see each other physically, I think there's been a stronger tie spiritually. The physical is less, the physical is only a mirror to the spiritual. And so I am more strongly tied to the group than I ever was. And when I see everybody, I am so happy to see everybody. But when I hear everybody also, I'm very happy. There's some folk I have never met that I know your voices now, that I would not have known your voices before had we met in a physical setting, because, you know, we were bound by location, but we aren't bound by location anymore. Meeting this way, talking this way, studying this way, kind of says that location is not important, that regardless of whether you're like my sister Audrey in Mexico or my daughter in California, George in Philly, wherever, it doesn't matter. We still are tied together and connected, and I think connected even stronger. Thanks.
Thank you. Anyone else? If you have a question about this, please raise it. If you don't see it, please say that. And if you see it differently, please say that. We are open, as always, to input from all of us. Thank you.
Hey, good morning, everyone. I agree with everything everyone has said. However, we can still use the facility for some degree of fellowship. Sometimes in life, if you don't use what you have, you will lose it. Example, you got a piece of property and ain't no one in it cooking, laughing, playing spades, playing Connect Four. Them sheetrock, your shingles, take on that energy because ain't no kind of life in it. So I agree with what everyone is saying, and we can get together in some degree of fellowship. So whatever the group want to do, I'm cool with. I'll support it. Yet I do suggest, can we get together and come up there, cook a little bit, laugh a little bit, because I think the shingles, I think the sheetrock, I think the foundation, I think them pine trees need it. So if we can come together, I'll tell me what y'all want to eat, I'll get it, and I'll cook it for you. Whether it's 4 people up there or 40 people, it don't matter to me. So I'm cool with what everyone said, yet I think we need to give it some activity. I know Robbie and Mr. Charles, they check on it and stuff, and it needs that. So I agree with what everyone said. That's just my contribution to what everyone said. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Good morning, Pastor. This is Kathy. And you and I have discussed this as well as I'm hearing that you've discussed it with others. And I know you know that I've struggled with missing our people and seeing our people, and that was hard for me. And when you gave us the opportunity to go back on the first and second Sundays and people still didn't show up, I really was concerned about that, and it really bothered me. And I had to go inside myself and ask what's going on. And when I was able to do that, the Creator showed me that it is not a coincidence that the people, it was not anybody that sat down and had a conversation and said, we're not going back. So it had to be something bigger than just us deciding not to go back. It had to be something spiritual. And I feel like, and I share it with you, once I embraced that, I was fine with it, because I feel like in the fullness of time, once the restructuring of what the first century church is supposed to be, because we've always asked to be that first century church, once this reconstruction is completed, assembling ourselves together periodically will occur again, but it won't be like it has been in the past. And once I embraced that, I got a peace about it, because I was really struggling with why didn't the people come back? Because I think I said to you, we didn't lose anybody during the pandemic to death, but I felt like we had lost our whole congregation. And I felt very strongly about that for a long time until I saw it through my eye, my third eye. And once I understood what was going on, I have a peace about it, and I can see everything that you all are saying. And I just wanted to share that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, Rev, this is Charles. I like what everybody had said, and especially what GW had said too. But what scripture in the Bible, I know it say that God's gonna start with the house of faith first. So I know he's talking about the ones, all his believers are all his people. Like when Jesus asked God, thank you for the 12 you had gave me, thank you for the people that you had given me. And what do that mean when he said, I'm gonna start with the house of faith? And that's where the falling off always be going. Do you understand what I'm saying, Pastor?
I do.
So
What you
go ahead.
what you're referring to is everything that could be shaken will be shaken, and it will begin with the household of faith. That's what one of the scriptures. The other one that you mentioned, I believe, refer to the assembling of ourselves together.
Yes, yes.
If everything is spiritual, then we are indeed assembling ourselves together, just in a different way. There was a period when people had to communicate over long distances with drums, and because of the communication with drums are outlawed in this country with us as enslaved people. But they were very effective, not only in communicating, but also in submitting to our Creator and being one with. The messages with the drums were not just escape messages; they were also messages of reminding us that we are one with our Creator, and that we are indeed spiritual. So I'm thinking that I'm addressing what you're asking, Charles. At least I hope I am. And if not, again, I solicit support from others.
Yes, you said it right on the head. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
If I may add something to that, I think Barbara's words hit it right on the head. If this is all spiritual, and we know that it is, then what we're doing is a stronger bond than it has ever been. And if it is spiritual, that spiritual is not locked by time. So when you say this is the assembly, we can assemble it physically if you want and have the members that used to be in the building, or we can assemble like this and have the whole universe. When we talk about ancestors, when we talk about those who have gone before us, that stuff is real. So when you look at this, what we're doing, and I think it's so powerful we don't even recognize a lot of what we're doing, but that's okay. We're doing it with sincerity and with genuine desire for truth. And I think that's very powerful. So when you talk about the assembling together, this is talking about those who have come before and behind us as well.
Thank you. Something just came to me, or I was reminded of something rather. The projection that we would be making in our separate places would be that we are disjointed. That is because when people physically are in different places, they see themselves as being separate. The thing that unites us is in a material way is the idea that we realize that we are faith ministers. We are servants of humanity. However, when we come together the way we are, there is a stronger sense of unity, of oneness, than it would be if we were meeting separately and as we were before. I believe that the Creator also did this to show us more than one thing. I believe that the Creator did this, as I said before, is to show us our commitment, whether it is to physicality or spirituality. The other thing I think that the reason rather that the Creator showed us this is that it is the season for weeding out and open the door for others to enter, meaning that commitment moves in two ways. Commitment means that you would either draw closer or further apart for the lack of commitment. And there are those who have removed themselves from what we are, this journey that we're on, which means that the commitment was to what we could do in the material world, physically facing each other. Our commitment has always been spiritual. And as we have seen in the past, there have been those, whether at Foundation Monday night or Great New Faith, it doesn't matter. All of us have seen people come and go. All of us, we've experienced that over the years. And this is a different winery. This is a different manner of weeding the universe, weeding out those who are truly committed to this journey. I don't mean that in a bad way. This is, everybody is not built to do what we do. If everyone was built to do what we are doing, then everyone not only will be doing it, but our responsibility, our job, our obligations would be a heck of a lot easier than what they are now. So again, I don't look at what we are going to be, neither do I look at what we were. My focus is on who we are, where we are at this moment. And at this moment, we are in a spiritual cocoon that is bursting at the sides for the express purpose of releasing the power, the inherent power that all of us was birthed with, so that others can see what this power looks like, experience it, and not even know what they were experiencing. And I believe that that's a huge reason why congregations are not, have not reconstituted as they were prior to COVID. One last thing I want to say at this moment, I'm sure I have some later on, but at this moment, it would not shock me at all that the experiences that we are having with COVID now are greater than what's being talked about. However, suppose for a moment that I will come into grips with this and embracing it fully. reduces the need for COVID. And when I say need, I'm talking about pushing us, that brought us together the way we are now, and at the same time exposed the greater body of religion. So suppose now that we have embraced not only who we are, but we have embraced that we are one in every sense of oneness. Now, the greater exposure of religion would take place, and it will not be separation because of the pestilence in the land. It would be separation based upon choices that people make about being on the journey searching for truth or understanding spirituality, or a journey that has been circular in the past, church, religion, etc. Thank you. Questions about that? Sure, I'll address them if there are any, and I welcome comments as always.
I just have a comment. When you said what you said about releasing, Pastor, that's what I was sitting here thinking, because in terms of being in church, it doesn't really matter for me because I'm not there. But I have really appreciated being able to come to this kind of setting. And I feel like I know everybody now, and I don't feel separate like I used to feel in terms of foundation versus greater new faith. I don't feel that separation anymore. But I think what you said about releasing what we're receiving, in this way here, I'm releasing what I receive. I release here in Mexico. What George receives, he releases up in Philadelphia. What Sheldon receives, he releases in New York. Rainier in California. Myra, where are you, Myra? Wherever Myra is. So it's going like all over the world. And
Ohio.
we couldn't do that sitting in our respective churches. It just wouldn't have happened. So I really appreciate this congregation here. And I think the world benefits from it too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Anyone else?
Good morning, everyone. This is George.
I have a comment. I'm sorry. I
Go
yield.
ahead, Evelyn. No, go ahead. Go ahead, Evelyn. Go ahead.
Right, see that,
Thank you.
oh, right here, right, stop right here. George recognized Evelyn's voice. That's what we were talking about. If we were where we had been before, would he have recognized her voice? I doubt it. So continue, please, Evelyn.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, George. I remember someone had asked a question about Hebrews 10:25 about do not forsake assembling. And Audrey had explained that so well about the forsaking the assembling within yourself. So is that the same thing we're talking about? And if so, Audrey, can you elaborate on that again?
I don't know, but well, I just saw it as having two meanings, an outer one and an inner one. And the inner one is that you do the work to bring yourself together. We all live in I remember doing this lesson about the struggle with duality. And we all struggle with that. I mean, there's opposites. Everything is opposite. And we have to do the work to sort of bring ourselves together. Here we are struggling with whether or not we should be in church or meet in some other way. those are opposites in terms of how we perceive things. So we have to come to terms within ourselves, as Kathy was saying. She had to come to terms with it within herself. So we have to assemble ourselves together. And that has to happen before we can really assemble with other people. I mean, we can assemble superficially, but in terms of really connecting and really being in sync spiritually, we do have to assemble ourselves together. Okay, does that answer it, Evelyn?
Yes, very well put. In the words of Jesus, thou hast well spoken. Thank you.
Go in peace, my sister.
Audrey, this is LaVon from Philadelphia. And I just want to agree with you in the sense that when they mentioned that they were going to go back into the church once or twice a month, I told George, I said, well, what does that mean? Will we still be able to listen in? Will we still be a part? I wasn't sure how it was going to work. And like you said, because, you know, I've only been to Greater New Faith when I visited. And of course, I would come down with George to the foundation meetings. And I always felt a sort of separation. But like you said, now there doesn't seem to be any type of separation. It seems like it's all one. And I don't talk a lot or mention things, but I sit here and look at George and we discuss between each other. And it's has been such a tremendous journey for me, being able to be on 3 days a week. You know, of course, more would be fine also, but these 3 days are so important and I'm enjoying it. So I was a little concerned when it was talking about going back into the building and I wasn't sure how it was going to affect us, but like everyone has said, it's bringing us all together as one, no matter where we are.
Yeah.
LaVon, George, if I could just say this, something LaVon said that she reminded me of. Kathy and I used to talk about this when we were separated and we come together for whatever it be, maybe a teacher's meeting or a big Bible study or whatever. We could always tell the difference between, based on who was speaking, which group you came from. There was a difference. The groups didn't sound alike. They weren't at the same place. We were all sincere about what we were doing, but we were at different places. You could teach the same lesson at foundation that you taught at Greater New Faith, and it would come out differently. But now it's one, and you can tell now. You know, the awareness is there, and the unity just enhances the lesson that much more. Sorry, George, I just want to say that because that too was a part of the separation.
No, absolutely. I think it all, you know, is relevant. And I was just going to say that during the time that, you know, we experienced COVID, you know, for me, I think it was more of an introspection of me really trying to think about how does it affect me? How can I still be effective in terms of just being, you know, who I am and being who we are? And I think it has given us the opportunity to reflect. And how can we, you know, use this opportunity in a way of reaching out, not just to our own individual families, our own different, you know, like those that we're associated with, but I think it's a much bigger, it's a much, you know, broader perspective to it that I think, again, have we totally understood it or understand it, but I think it's taken us back to a beginning that we can appreciate, Ron, just a simple thing of home and family. See, when we look at it from this perspective, I think everything starts at home, but what does home mean to you? What does, spirit, or what does the teachings that we're getting, how does it impact in our home and our family, in our, communities, et cetera? So I think that this is something that, have we come to the conclusion of how to deal with it, how to approach it, but I think it's giving us the newness of being able to be creative or to be thoughtful. How can we impact on humanity? So, has it come to that point where it's defined? No, but I think that we have the opportunity that if we're using technology for the right purpose, then I see it now, and so I just want to, just say I'm grateful, that, we're able to appreciate the conversation that we're having and the teachings that we're getting. And again, sometimes we can be sidetracked, or we can be, I don't want to say confused, because we're entertaining, trying to entertain everything. But I think that this is a foundation, in terms of just the name itself, In Pursuit of Truth, that has a lot of power.
Yeah.
And so I'm just grateful for our conversation and our session. Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you, George. And who knows?
Good morning, everyone. Go ahead, Ron, my bad.
Nothing. I was just going to say, who knows? I know Zoom has been around for a while, but see, my thinking is it was probably invented for moments like this. What if it was invented for us? I know somebody say he's crazy. I might be, but that's how I see things now. My thinking is changing.
I was thinking the same thing, Ron.
Yeah. I'm
So
sorry.
both are crazy. Okay. George?
Well, one thing I would like to add, based upon what everyone has said about assembling, and this could be very opinionated. When you assemble, it's not about how many times you assemble. Yet what it is about, when you do assemble, what's the exchange of energy and/or intimacy when you do come together? I look at my home church, Trinity United Methodist Church in Orangeburg. Man, they struggling, and they ain't the only one, because when they assemble, it wasn't a good exchange of energy and/or intimacy, and they paying for it now. Yet the plus that we got is, when we got together, we made the most of it. And we might have had a couple of arguments, Miss Cassie and I, but that's all fun. What family don't argue, or what family don't disagree? So if you can apply this to other arenas of your life, when you're training people, you want a good exchange of intimacy and energy with the person you training. If you are being trained, you want a good exchange of intimacy, and you a licensed family therapist, you want a good exchange of energy and/or intimacy with the person you trying to aid. So that's the one advantage that I think Greater New Faith and Foundation has. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? What you think matters?
Can I say something right here, please? And I'm sorry if I disrupt saying something. I owe everybody here an apology, and especially Charles. And Charles asked a question last Monday, and we were supposed to address it, and I forgot about it. But for those of you who want to write it down, Charles, if I remember correctly, I wrote this down. It was Matthew 14, starting at verse 22, right? I apologize for that, because we love questions, and we say that, and I want to try to make sure that we address them when people ask them. So again, apologize, and we'll try to get to it tomorrow. Okay, give us a chance to take a look. That's Matthew.
It was 14, 22 to 34.
Through 34.
And I read it all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you got 2 or 3 other scriptures to back it up, but it's not as good as Matthew 14, 22, and 34.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to put that out there while my mind was on it so I don't forget again. So we can look at that tomorrow, okay? Again,
All right.
thank you, sir. So I'm sorry, I think I interrupted somebody. Pastor asked if you had any more questions.
I was about to say, this is Evelyn again. I appreciate the family that we have, because our family, to teachers and everyone, has brought to life that we are one. I didn't realize that until we started really talking about us being one. I listened to Frankie Beverly and Mays, the song that they made about we are one, and I didn't understand it. And now that we're talking about that we're one, it resonates. It's a part of who we are. And I really appreciate you guys for talking about this, putting it out there in the macro. Yeah, I really appreciate that, because the song does resonate with me. And when I hear it, it touches my soul. It really does. So I appreciate that. Thank you. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Evelyn.
Matter of fact, I was going to look up the scripture that Charles spoke about last night. I got sidetracked and then get to it. Lamont raised the question last week, and we addressed it, or are addressing it now. The question seemed to have been benign. A question with a simple answer, it appeared to be. Yet it wasn't. I believe that the Creator allowed this to be what it is because we had to be on the same page when it came to differentiating between religion, religious rituals, and where we are now. Look at how broad the discussion has been and how much space it has occupied. I see something that I'm going to make an attempt to explain. What I see is a dot or a period of beginning. I don't believe that we have ever truly embraced what beginning looks like or feels like, even though we talked about going back to beginning or going to beginning, and that we never left beginning. If we are the entities that we say we are, and we are indeed Elohim, then it is impossible to leave beginning. However, it is difficult for the mind to embrace beginning. The soul knows that it has never left, and that's one of the reasons we could talk about that, but not maybe fully see it. We had a serendipitous experience. We were in search of the beginnings of the people in Akabalon in Africa. And when we started the trek from the beginning of the Twa / the Kushites, the beginning of humanity, we started with a physical look and ended with an overview of spirituality. Understanding that we don't yet realize or know what the womb is out of which all of us came. Humanity, I mean. But traveling that journey, what I've seen is we did not travel across the continent of Babylon. We traveled the spiritual journey around the world, the whole globe. And I see that we now are at a place where we are truly experiencing the essence of what it means to be one yet many. The many who's only separated in physical terms, but the one who is truly united in every sense of the word of unicity or oneness. The discussion today has so far been creating a tapestry of different patterns that brought together a significant tapestry of humanity. Realizing that even if one piece of that tapestry was missing, it would be incomplete. I believe that we are at a place of completeness. It doesn't mean we have arrived. It means that we are at a place of completeness, meaning that we are at a place where we can see ourselves as ourself. We can see myself as myself, meaning all of us are myself. All of us are ourselves. We can see that. We can feel it, experience it. We can almost taste it, which is difficult to explain. And it may be just as difficult to process with our minds, but easy to receive the resonance of the resonation of it in our souls. The resonance is strong. And right now, that journey that's carried us across the continent, that journey was a journey of spiritual essence, a spiritual return to the inception of everything that is, and embracing all of what is, and at the same time being extremely cognizant of who we are as a people, but more importantly, our purpose for being in this earth as people, our obligation as spiritual beings that we have to everything in this earth, from the grain of sand to every human that's on this earth or ever has been on this earth. Our ancestors are smiling because of where we are and this place of completeness. Completeness, again, it doesn't mean the end. It doesn't mean we're finished. It means we see us. We see us completely. We see one yet many. And I don't mean see it with our eyes. We see it with our eye. And there is no cloudiness in it at all. We understand that the time at one time was a barrier to us. But since we're able to travel, to embrace beginnings and see that the trek was not a physical traveling across, it was exactly what it was supposed to be, a spiritual experience that gave us a greater, deeper sense of our oneness and our responsibilities. It is now our opportunity to bring to a head everything that is contradictory to who we are and the purpose of our being in this earth. the things that beset us in our daily lives, we see now that they are nowhere near as important as what our responsibilities are. The things that beset us in our lives beset us only because we allow them to. And when we cease to allow them to, it's just like someone at school picking on you. The moment that you deal with it, it ceases. And the moment we deal with these things that beset us, we begin to see them as characters who are adverse to our journey, as spiritual energy that is seeking to be transformed. When we begin to embrace it like that, it is then that we begin to see the harmony that we have longed for. It is time for us to bring an end to what's happening in the Middle East. The cheapness of life has to be recognized by us. It is not for Biden or anyone else to bring that conflict to an end. It is up to us. We are who we say we are. There are no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We are who we say we are. And the Creator has shown us time after time who we are by virtue of allowing us to see the manifestation of those things that we have been forever searching for. We know who we are, and we know that if our responsibility is to bring humanity to harmony, and it is, that's our main obligation, then it is on our shoulders to change the mindset that allows men to be barbarians and take the lives of people as if they are nothing at all. They don't treat animals the way humanity is being treated. We are responsible for changing that direction. Netanyahu is our child. He is our child who has no sense of direction, has no empathy for anyone except the people who look like him. Biden is no different. And the others around this world, whether it be France, Germany, or England, are no different. All of them are in support of the carnage that's taking place in Gaza. All of them know, and they knew beforehand, that the push towards the South was to get everybody contained in one space so they could all be killed or be destroyed to the point where they were not a viable force anymore. It is no coincidence that out of 15,000 people dead, 7,000 are children. It is no coincidence that 85% of all the people in Gaza has been displaced in terms of homes. That is no coincidence. We are the change that we seek. The heart of our children must be changed, and we are the ones to change that heart. And I hear you. I hear you loudly. How do we do that? How have we done anything else? How have we come to the place where we are now? How have we begun to recognize the 42 affirmations being the essence of our being, the cells in our body, the seed of our soul? How did we do that? We did it by desire, and our desire is strong enough to bring an end to this conflict. Our desire is strong enough to deliver the hearts of our people, of our children, from this stage of a hardened heart. It is and we have the desire to soften the hearts so that the mirror of who they are will be seen by looking at us and the people they seek to destroy. And when I say us, I don't mean just this group who are on this call. I'm talking about all of humanity, especially people of African descent. The people whose roots are in Kabbalah are the most spiritual people on this earth. And if we don't do it, who can? No one else can do it. There is not a group of people on this earth. There's not a culture on this earth that did not come from a Babylon, whether it be the Chinese, the Japanese, the Korean, it does not matter. Everything in this earth that is beneficial to mankind had its genesis in a Babylon. It had its genesis in Southeast Africa. Everyone knows that. But we are the ones who are responsible for keeping that in the hearts of mankind. We have allowed death and destruction to take precedence over spiritual life. And it's time for it to end. And it's my declaration, along with your consent and your embracing, that this is the day that we bring order to this earth. This is the day that we cease the groaning of the natural inhabitants of this earth, trees, grass, rocks, etc. We cease the moaning of this earth and bring it to a joyous place where deliverance can be the primary force as opposed to the carnage that we see taking place. And carnage is not just a bomb dropping on someone. Carnage is also pushing people into concentration camps, pushing people into refugee camps and calling them ghettos and convincing them to embrace it as their neighborhood, their hood, owning nothing in it. We must bring to the forefront the end of the ownership of people and land, the greed that permeates the land. We must close the gates of greed. And today is the day that we close the gates of greed and begin to embrace the manifestation of what is real in this earth. And the realness of it has to come from those who are to dominate. And if the Creator said, dominate, and we were the first people on this earth, who do you think the Creator was speaking to? Who do you think the Creator was speaking to when we began to understand that dominate does not mean that you lord over people, that you feel like you're superior to people? Dominate means bring order and maintain that order. And order does not come from the barrel of a gun. Order comes from the depth of your soul. And the maintenance of that order comes from the way we live in relationship to each other and our thoughts and the speech that comes from our lips. The order is kept by the words that emanate from our soul. And we cannot allow our minds to clog clog the road that leads to harmony. We must allow the words from our soul to create the pathway and to make the journey smoother than what it has been. I thank you for listening. I'm done.
So let it be peace. Be still.
Peace. Peace.
Agreed.
That's all it takes, our desire. Just embrace it.
Amen. Also questions, anyone?
We thought that we were going to get to an explanation of each of the 42 affirmations. But why we are not seemingly able to get there, I believe it's because our desires are the 42 affirmations. Our being are the 42 affirmations. Embracing who we are is embracing the 42 affirmations. That's who we are. That is not something we remember. That is not something we want to be. That is who we are. Everything that is spiritually is spiritually enhancing to humanity, to the universe. That's who we are, and we cannot avoid that. That's who we are. Act like it, think like it, speak like it. Let that be the primary thing in your life, your commitment to desire for humanity, your commitment that goes beyond seeking to preserve your life in this earth, that goes beyond anything that can be offered to you in this earth, anything that you can attain in this earth. It goes beyond all of that. Nothing material matters, and it's nothing material benefits humanity if humanity is not free. Nothing. It that sustains a people until the people get sick and tired of being sustained and begin to search for a new order, search for a way out of this chaos. And that search has begun. And we are the key to that search. We are the vanguard of that search. That is the reason we had to come together the way we have, and that is through Zoom and other means of electronics, because electronics are the spiritual representation in this earth in terms of our communication. We communicate over these mechanisms because it brings us, as Barbara said earlier, closer than we have ever been, and we have never been physically further away from each other. Yet we are spiritually, we are closer than what we have ever been. And that unicity, that closeness gives us the opportunity to split the atom, to create the explosion that is necessary for everything and everyone in this earth to be touched by our presence, but more importantly, by our desires. Nothing is stronger than your desire. Nothing is stronger than your desire. Desiring to know who you are will show you who you are. And that desire, if it's strong enough to show you that you are God, that you are Elohim, and that nothing is stronger than you, then your desire can certainly prick the hearts of those children who do not realize that they are operating in a world of righteousness without any righteousness at all. They are suppressing the journey of righteousness while at the same time doing everything to destroy those who are righteous. We are not looking at that with our eyes, nor are we experiencing it with our emotions. We are experiencing it with our desire, and we're seeing it with our eye. And the eye that we are seeing it with is the light that is necessary to bring the children out of darkness. We must love our children. Loving our children, embracing them, holding them close, gives them an opportunity to see how much the most forgiving people on earth love them in spite of what has taken place in the past or now. That's who we are. These are our children, and they are right now in the cradle, waiting for us to feed them, waiting for us to show them how to be mature. This is our day. This is it. This day in December is the beginning of everything that is, simply because we have never left beginning. We can't leave beginning because we can't leave our roots behind. No matter where we are in the diaspora, we have roots in Akabalon, and the spiritual roots go deep and are capable of bearing the fruit of deliverance for the whole of mankind and the maturity of our children. Amen. Thank you. I think I'm done. Any questions or comments?
Just to comment that you mentioned order. And I believe when George was talking about those 7 principles, he said that order is arranging things in a way that's not cluttered and allowing feminine and masculine energy to take their place of authority. So I think that's an important thing to remember too when it comes to order.
Agree. I agree. Thank you. Ron?
George, were you about to speak?
I was just inhaling and exhaling because, again, as of yesterday, the words that I'm hearing, was words that I've heard from all of you with regards to the 7 principles. I mean, we talk about order and arrangement, or we talk about the spirit of harmony, but I hear it in terms of it differently now. I mean, we were taught thou shalt not, but thou is speaking about you, in terms of how it was written, but it's not thou, it's I have not, and when I look at it in terms of what was said today, I am desiring truth. I am desiring harmony. I am desiring order. I am desiring righteousness. I am desiring, reciprocity. So it's not, in terms of how we look at it for others, but it's the I am that I am, the I am that you are. And when we can see it from our eye, then we are able to open up the eyes of others where they can see it too for themselves. And so again, I think it's just a transformation, a resurrection that's taken place, that again, we're just grateful for this moment, this time. So again, I'm just thankful for the teachings. I'm thankful for the opportunity that we have to come together at this appointed time. I'm done, Ron.
May I add something to that, George?
Yes.
Is I am the desire for righteousness. No, I would rather say I am righteousness. I am truth. I am life. I am all of the attributes that are necessary for harmony. Not, I no longer simply desire them. I am them. I am those principles. And because I am those principles, I am one with the universe and one with everything that was created. Therefore,
Yeah, I think we may have lost Pastor, but if can anyone hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I'm sorry, we may have lost him, but I'm sure he'll come back. But I think that's the transformation, moving from desiring to I am. So I totally concur, because I think that's, the movement, when
Yeah.
you hear the power of words. So it's not about I have desire no more. I am truth. So I can definitely receive that, and it just makes us so much more powerful. So, I just wanted to reiterate those thoughts. And so if Pastor comes back on, but it's again, I am empowered. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm done, Rob.
Yeah, I just I was waiting to see if Pastor was going to come back. If he was finished, he's going to come back and share what his thoughts. Uh, you guys witnessed this with me when Pastor finished talking immediately, did you feel that energy? Did you feel that calmness and the beauty and that's all of us. That's his energy and ours. That's that desire coming together. That is so harmonious to me. It feels awesome.
It was a humming vibration. I'm still vibrating. I'm still
Yeah.
resonating.
That's why I didn't say anything right away. I mean, it just to absorb as much of that as you can, you know, that feeling. I'm sorry.
I'm just saying about so.
You were not done. We were just waiting for you to come back. You were saying I am love, I am peace, all
Yes.
those and
That's it. That's who we have lived out of faith in our beginnings, and we move beyond faith to knowing, and we move from knowing to understanding the depth of desire and the power of it. And now we are not having a desire, we are it. We are the desire, meaning that all of the attributes that's necessary for order is who we are.
Yeah.
Our dedication, our commitment, our thoughts, our breath is one with the universe. When you breathe, don't think about it as breath. It is not simply breath, something that keeps your body alive because you're breathing. No, it is spirit that's given life to everything that is a recipient of your breath, of your presence, of your spirit. That's who we are. It is not what we want to be, that's just who we are. And I wish that I were able to paint a clearer picture. I were able to articulate it in such a way that is easily embraced. But since I'm not able to do that, my desire to the universe is for it to resonate at such a deep place within you. You may not remember the words, but you'll always feel the experience.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Pastor, just before you came back on, we were saying exactly that. We all felt that. We all really felt it really deeply.
Thank you. Then my cry to the universe is met.
Yeah.
Even before I cried, it's met. Thank you. I'm done, guys.
Well, I love where we are. I love this feeling. I love the energy that we're feeling right now. This is a beautiful place to take a pause and reflect on what we're on, and just continue to breathe in what we've just heard, and appreciate where we are. Okay. Any final thoughts or questions?
Yes, Ron. Good afternoon. This is Jackie. And I've been wanting to share this. A few weeks ago, I was watching something on HGTV. It's a new show. I'm not sure. I don't even know the name of it. But it was a lady on there, and she started a business. And I didn't see it when it started, the show when it started. But one thing that did catch my attention was she was driving in her car. I think she does like glass. It's some kind of art. I do know that. But anyways, she said that, and it really resonated with me when she said that her dad told her that she's driving around with her head in a cloud. And she said, no, she said, because the universe got me. I am the universe. And I kind of turned around when I heard her say that, and I was like, wow. So that stuck with me all week. And I was like, okay, Pastor, we've been teaching, we are the universe. I heard you say it, Pastor said, You are the universe. Everything that you need is, you are it. You are the I am. And so about a month ago, my dad fell ill, and we've been going through back and forth with him. And so I was so uptight. I was going to bed with things on my mind, thinking about Dad. And I heard an audible voice just say, I got you. Let it go. And I could feel myself in my sleep releasing. And I just, oh my gosh, I woke up that morning, I just felt so renewed. And what that lady said on the show, when she said her dad said, you can walk around with your head in the clouds. She said, no, I'm not. She said, the universe got me. And that has been what resonated with me. I mean, not that I didn't hear the lessons, but it made me feel great that we're not the only ones. It is reaching others. Others are getting it. But it really resonated with me more then when I heard her saying, and then with everything that's going on with, you know, my dad being sick and everything, I just wanted to share that I'm good. I'm good now. Not that I wasn't. And then on the way home last night from my dad's house, we ran over something in the road, caused a flat tire. We were able to pull over to a gas station where there was plenty of light, and I wasn't upset. You know, I was calm. We didn't have some of the tools that we needed, so we called roadside assistance. And then, while we were sitting there, we saw a U-Haul truck pull in, like a Silverado, like a pickup truck, pull into the gas station. They didn't get gas. They just pulled over to the gas pump. And they were sitting there, but we didn't pay them any attention because I thought that was the person that was coming to help us, roadside assistance, but it wasn't. And then, so when the guy got there for roadside assistance, he didn't have his tools either. And he called the gentleman, went to his voicemail. He didn't answer. I was still breathing, still calm. And that U-Haul truck, the pickup, drove around, and I said, he is going to stop. Well, it wasn't a he, it was a she. And she was a little tiny lady. You could have folded it up, put it in your pocket. But she said, what do you guys need? She said, just check it out. And her car was a Silverado. Her truck was Silverado. I was a Silverado. And she had everything we needed. She said, I saw you guys sitting there, but I thought you were out of gas. I didn't know. And she just drove around. And when she came around the corner, I said, he, thinking it was he, I said, he is going to stop. And he did. She did. And she had everything that we needed, got the tire, everything. And I was like, okay, I'm feeling this. I know this. Yeah. I know who I am. And it was just, I just had to share. I'm done.
Thank you, Jackie. Thank you for sharing that. And you reiterated something once. One, we do have to hear things over and over again sometimes to catch it. Like Pastor said, we never left beginning, but it took me a while to see beginning. You know, I struggle with some things. I feel it. I know it's true. I know it's there, but it takes some time of redundancy for it to sink in. And these experiences that you have just reinforces what you already know who you are. So I love your examples. Thank you. And you know what? I love this. I love what we do. This is my energy for the week. This is what I fall back on during the week. And I don't have bad weeks anymore. I don't have bad weeks anymore. If anything, I get bored waiting to do this. But thank you. I love you guys. Thank you. I love today. Absorb the energy and release it. Okay. And any thoughts and questions, and please, the pastor and especially the teachers, take a look at Matthew 14, starting at verse 22. So we can look at Charles's question. Any final thoughts or question before we get off? Okay. Love you guys. Have a great day. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday and look forward to tomorrow evening.
We will not
Take care,
meet.
everybody.
We will not meet the weekend of Christmas.
Okay.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Take care, family.
Okay.
Love you guys.
Love you.
Thank you.